Slumpbusters, and on to the divisional round of the AFC playoffs. And we did not get an exciting wildcard round, to say the least. 2 blowouts, 1 close game. At least the close game, we got to see a 30-year playoff victory drought snap by the Cincinnati Bengals. Congratulations, Joe Burrow. Stripe hype moves on. So we might get a great guest out of this week. What did you think of that first game we saw on Saturday?
I saw a team that probably didn't belong in the playoffs get beat, which was the Raiders, which was kind of the theme of the whole weekend, wasn't it? It was teams that didn't really belong in the playoffs getting beat in like 60% of our wildcard games so far. So,
I mean,
yeah,
Raiders at least showed they belonged a little bit more than some other teams. We're definitely seeing an ugly one right now. As full disclosure to the listeners here, we haven't even waited for this Chiefs-Steelers game to end. As of the moment, it's currently 42-14, and I don't think it's going to get any better by the end of this recording. Just so everyone's in the know where we stand on this game.
But even still, you skipped the point here. I've got my Mahomes jersey on right now. My boy came through with 400. I mean, again, it's still early in the fourth quarter, and I assume they're going to pull the starters at some point, but 402 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. And by the way, should have had 6, but they called a trick play where Travis Kelce's throwing touchdown passes. Why? Because we're out here to have fun, man. We know we're going to destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to outgain them 520 to 50, 520 to 50 in the yardage game. And Kansas City's just going to be Kansas City. So yeah, Mahomes is awesome. Kansas City is awesome. They put up 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, and it still wasn't the most crazy offensive performance of the weekend. Giving the Raiders their due props, though. The Raiders only lost because they didn't have a defense. The Raiders' defense this year was ranked 17th in DVOA, which is okay. Like, we knew the Raiders' strength was in their offense. We knew the Raiders probably didn't belong in the playoffs, and the Raiders ended up putting together a defense that finished 17th in DVOA, and then in the Chargers game and the Bengals game, the last 2 games of the season, lost 4 starters to injuries on defense. So the Raiders were already a middle of the road defense that lost 4 of their 11 starters. And they basically said, we're just going to take away the deep ball. We're going to take away the big play. And that whole game was just 8 yards Jamar Chase, 8 yards Tyler Boyd, 8 yards T. Higgins, 8 yards Joe Mixon, 8 yards Jamar Chase. And the first 5 drives, Bengals scored on all 5. The strategy was working because they were holding the Bengals to field goals once they got to the red zone, except for the controversial whistle blown or whistle not blown touchdown for Tyler Boyd. Like, assume that ends in a field goal, they would have been right in that game right at the end. Now, would the touchdown probably have been taken off the board for the Bengals because they probably score that anyways with or without the whistle? Yeah, probably true. But still, the strategy worked the best it could for the Raiders. Their game plan was just, can we move the ball on offense? They kind of did. They did in the fourth quarter, but it took Derek Carr getting down 10 points with 5 minutes to go for them to really open up the offensive playbook and actually try and win the game instead of just trying to stay competitive in the game.
Again, I'll throw that one on Greg Olsen, Vespacio. I just don't think that anyone's in that locker room anymore to call offensive play calling, to make the Raiders offense more dynamic like it was early in the season. I think it's just been all downhill ever since their midseason coaching change. Credit to Vespacio and them for even being in this spot, for staying in that game as much as they did. Not an easy job whatsoever. And I think the Raiders actually will be somewhat of a viable wildcard team heading in next year if they can make the right decision at head coach. The other game, though, that you were talking about, the most impressive offensive output of the weekend, definitely belongs to the Buffalo Bills. They did not punt. They did not kick a field goal. They threw a big man touchdown in this game just because they were having fun at that point. Yeah, the Bills just lit up Bill Belichick. In fact, that was the most points the Patriots as a franchise, keep in mind they've had Bill for 20 years. They had Bill Parcells earlier on, since 1990. Obviously, defense is their game. Defense is the name. They did not live up to their name in that game. The Bills, I mean, come on. They have just put a number on Bill in these last 2 outputs here. Obviously, Josh Allen was great in the last game. He was even better in this game. So heading into a big game against Kansas City, prime time spot for whatever network ends up with that game.
Well, let's not also pretend that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't also throw a big man touchdown in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I think a Quessenberry got one.
We did get at least see that. We did see at least that much. We also saw Travis Kelce threw a touchdown. So a couple of offenses that were just fucking around at this point and not even giving their opponents the benefit of being there. So Bills, Chiefs, they're having fun. We'll see if they can have fun in a matchup against each other. Last time they played, it was 38-20 in favor of the Buffalo Bills. And that was one of Josh Allen's best games of his career. 4 touchdowns he accounted for altogether, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 running. So coming off of the performance he had against the Patriots, I wonder if he could keep up that same energy. The Bills seem to be one of those teams that's just peaking at the right time. They picked off the easy part of their schedule at the end of the year when they had Falcons, Jets, Panthers, Patriots again, and now they get the Chiefs. So this is going to be like a true test to see, are the Bills ready to make that Super Bowl leap?
This game is the AFC Championship. Like, it just happens to be played in the second round, like how the Bucks played the Nets last year in the second round, and then they just slaughtered the Atlanta Hawks because it was just a break of the schedule. No, this game's the AFC Championship. If the Packers didn't exist, I would say this game is the Super Bowl, because this is what everything has been leading up to. Rematch, Chiefs and Bills. The Bills offense is peaking at exactly the right time. The Chiefs are not the same juggernaut that they were last season, that in their playoff game against the Bills, in 7 offensive possessions, the Bills scored 0 points. Like, the Chiefs are not that team this year. They're still a high-powered offense. Buffalo is a high-powered offense. This game is the AFC Championship, and whoever wins has a formality victory against either the Titans or the Bengals to get to the Super Bowl.
Are you talking about that Titans team that had a 27-3 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs? Or you must be talking about those Tennessee Titans that also beat the Buffalo Bills on a Monday Night Football game. Am I right? Is that what I'm hearing here? Kyle, I think something might be wrong with my microphone here.
Or the Tennessee Titans that finished 20th in defensive DVOA this year, or the Tennessee Titans that I'm going to still say are the 6th best team in the AFC, and 2 of the teams I'm mentioning are not even in the playoffs.
Not a math scholar here, but 27-3, that is a 24-point victory, right? Let's see Mahomes' box score in that game. Let's see, a little over 200 yards, no touchdowns, a pick. Oh, that was pretty ugly, right?
It's a pretty bad pick, too.
The Titans, let's see here. Well, Derrick Henry threw a touchdown in that game. Derrick Henry will be back for this coming game on Sunday, Saturday. We don't know when it is when we're recording this. So just, keeping that in mind, just throwing that out there. Let's not get too high on the AFC Championship. We are talking about the divisional round. Let's also talk a little bit, Tennessee Titans versus Cincinnati Bengals here. I know it's not the sexy part of the bracket, but Joe Burrow, obviously a well-accomplished season coming off that ACL injury. I can't give this guy enough love. I can't give this guy enough praise, what he's done to resurrect essentially the Bengals franchise. People were telling him, no, don't go to Ohio. Don't go to Cincinnati. And Joe Burrow's like smoking a cigar. All right, guess this is a job for me. And here he is. Second round of the playoffs. This is more than you could ever ask for a number 1 overall drafted player. This is exactly who the Browns would hope that Baker Mayfield would have turned into. This is who the Lions would hope Matthew Stafford would eventually became. This is what you want when you draft a quarterback number 1, to be a guy that literally changes around the course of an entire franchise. And that's what Joe Burrow is. Obviously, huge quarterback advantage there, Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill. But the fact that the big man for Tennessee is out there tells me that the Titans can control the offense. The Titans have a week to get healthy. Whether they use that right, I guess we'll see, but I don't count Mike Vrabel out of any game in which he's coaching, because I think Mike Vrabel is a top 10 coach. I'm ready to fully declare that.
It's quite on the fringes, isn't it? Like, he's kind of hanging around there.
There is not another coach in that top 10 that literally threatened to slice their own dick off for a Super Bowl. So give that man his praise.
You know what? If he's willing to go through with it, then I will give him a top 10 coaching honor there. But
so don't you want to see the Titans at the Super Bowl, man? I'm just saying, don't we kind of
God, no. No.
Test this out, just see how far he could go. Just someone just starts chasing him around the hallways with a butter knife. Just, hey, coach, you balled up. I'm here for the operation. Just even the Titans hire someone.
In the sport where Lamar Jackson can't get to a conference championship game, and in the sport where either the Chiefs or the Bills are not going to make the AFC Championship this year, which is more just a formality than anything else. Like, that game is the AFC Championship by my recollection.
Should I bring back up the box score here?
The point is here, the idea of the Titans being in the AFC Championship in 2 of the last 3 years defies all logic and sense that exists in the world of football. But it also might happen, not because the Titans are better than the Bengals, because they're not, but also because it looks like Larry Ogunjobi may have torn his Achilles for the Cincinnati Bengals in that game. And Trey Hendrickson left the game with a concussion for Cincinnati. And so this is a window of opportunity for the Titans to generate enough offense to overcompensate for the fact that the Bengals are going to absolutely destroy them on the offensive side of the football going into this game. So it should be fun. It should be high scoring if Derrick Henry doesn't run the ball 30 times at 60% capacity and the Titans dominate time of possession. It's going to be fun to watch, but also whoever wins is super overachieving. Like, the idea of the Bengals or the Titans making the AFC Championship is a huge overachievement for both of those teams this year, because both of them probably should have lost in the wild card. One of them is going to make the AFC Championship game and then get destroyed by either Buffalo or Kansas City.
All right, folks. Well, this video isn't for our predictions. That's for another video coming in the next couple days. And if you want to see that video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Go ahead and leave a like on this video and comment below. We want to say shout out to Ben Roethlisberger. Whatever you do, go out on the farm, enjoy yourself. Just go off into the distance and never pick up a football again. And I think the rest of us, including Steelers Nation or Steelers fanhood or whatever you want to call them, I think they'll be grateful as well, guys. So pouring one out to you, Big Ben, from Juju Talk Sports, from Kyle Ledbetter. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. And we'll see you tomorrow with the NFC breakdown as well.